Hi there, Rick Morgan, Atlanta M&A Advisors, and I am in Cleveland, and I just happened to catch a few things that I wanted to record on video to share. As I mentioned before in my intro clip, that since 1998 I've been helping principals put business transactions together, acquisition, sale deals, backgrounds in securities, capital markets, with formal finance education. 1998, headquartered out of Atlanta, recently in Cleveland for a number of reasons, but still working with principals around the country. And there are many providers in the professional services field: lawyers, accountants, tax lawyers, estate attorneys, investment banking people, consultants, management consulting, etc. That said, the reason I had to kick off on the video is because it's imperative that providers are able to differentiate themselves from each other, because we're all unique people with 350 plus million people in the US, et cetera, et cetera. You know, we like our favorite gas station, we like our favorite restaurants, we like our favorite grocery stores, and we know people. We like our certain family members, we like certain family members we don't care for. And in the professional field, when we're talking about projects of consequence, I think as a provider, it's important that, number one, the burden of becoming known is our burden. So if I want to be a rock and roll star, what do? I go on tour. I say, hey, look at me, I'm a guitar guy. And if you are selling shoes, you got to get people to wear your shoes. If you sell jewelry, you got to put your earrings on people. And so in professional services business, that's, basic 101. So I'm comfortable with my business work for many years in a private network, direct contact kind of basis, but the nature and scale and complexity of my work continues to grow, and I don't have a lot of time to interact with people when I'm primarily working on major transactions, and so the distraction is just too much. I like to work independently. I don't make any apologies for that. I try to be the most informed, the most competent, and the most committed student to subject matter excellence and awareness of critical tasks and milestones for success on projects. And so on deal projects, you have translation. You lose when you're dealing with people. If you want to work with a Fortune 50 public company as a consumer, it can be not quick, not responsive. If you want to work with a large organization and bureaucracy, it can be sometimes less rewarding when you're in the mood to do something now. And as a former Army guy, I speak from firsthand knowledge. As an independent practitioner with expert support as needed, Harvard lawyers, the best top shelf CPAs, everybody that's, the best money can buy. I can quarterback and lead things effectively without administrative lag and ultimate responsiveness to principals like yourself. So that said, I'm in Cleveland, and in the spirit of, hey, what's cool in Cleveland? The news was Avery Dennison, based out of Mentor, Ohio. If you're in the Cleveland area, you know the company. But they basically bought a $110 million gross revenue spinoff recently. They're in the process of hoping to close in the fourth quarter. $110 million gross rev target with $300 million deal value. I can explain a little bit. But Avery Dennison, if you're in the Cleveland area, you might know the name, founded in 1935 New York Stock Exchange traded AVY. They're on 8080 Norton Parkway in Mentor, Ohio, just east of the city of Cleveland. They trade today at $168 a share, today, September 9, 2025, Tuesday. They have a $13.13 billion market cap, $8.76 billion gross sales. So their market cap is, knocking on 2 times gross sales. They have 35,000 employees, and you probably know the company. They work in pressure-sensitive labels. Every Office Depot or Staples has the Avery Dennison labels for pressure-sensitive PSA, pressure-sensitive adhesive. They also are very big in industrial adhesives. So this video is a big congratulations shout out to Mitch Butler, Executive Chairman, and Deon Stander, President and CEO of the big operation, and then Ryan Yost, who is President of the Materials Group. So this is not a big deal in terms of overall scale of the enterprise, being a global business. However, in the realm of niche adhesives, it's a nice little, what we call an add-on. So the company is Meridian Flooring Adhesives business, based out of Dalton, Georgia. They consist primarily of 3 brands: Taylor Adhesives, Polycom, and Frontier Products. And the parent that is spinning them off is Meridian Adhesives Group, which is owned by American Securities, LLC. I believe they're, out of New York. It is a private equity firm. Sounds like maybe a broker-dealer, investment banking, but no, it's strictly just private equity. They manage approximately $26 billion. And American Securities Adhesives runs 25 facilities with 5,000 customers in the world, with 500 employees. I guess, actually that's Meridian. Meridian has 25 facilities, 5,000 customers, 500 employees, which really obviously is not very many. But that's the parent spinning off Meridian Flooring Adhesives. So the local Cleveland boys pick up a Dalton target. That's a great little feather in your cap. Dalton, of course, being the carpet capital of the world. I know Dalton intimately well. Have been spent a lot of time in Dalton. I know people in Dalton. It's a big deal. Dalton is a big deal on the global map if we're talking about flooring. Mr. Buffett has the Shaw Company, and Bob Shaw, and a number of big providers to carpet and tile and things that go, laminate flooring that are distributed worldwide, centered right there in Dalton. And anyway, real quick on the deal, 110 million gross revenues, which is small, $390 million. So price to sales, that's a 3.54x gross revenue deal. How in the world can we justify 3.5 times on gross? Well, the only way I can think it makes sense is that the target has some attractive margin. So, and that's the strategy at Avery Dennison. In their released information, they're looking to buy targets that have defensible margin, niche, high value add products. And if you think about what does that mean, that means products at sale, incredibly marked up, basically high value add, high technology products, where your ingredient costs are low, your resale price is high, your processing costs are nominal. So all we can guess is that there is a high markup, high value add component to these products. And basically, so then if we had a 40% cash flow on this business unit, 110 million times 40% would be 44 million. 390 million divided by 44 is 8.8x, which isn't at all kind of nuts, actually. And if you had 30% cash flow, EBITDA or what have you, on that business unit, 30% of the 110 is 33 million. 390 million divided by 33 is 11.8x. Again, not a big deal. But obviously, we figure the guys over in Mentor have eyeballed this and they know it's got a fat margin on that top line. So the top line is small, $110 million, $2 million a week. It's not a big business. It's not a big business. Now, they're at 8.7 gross. Avery Dennison is. So they're knocking on $9 billion a year. They're looking, they want to get to $1 billion a month. Obviously, that's their plan in life. So this does have enough fat on the bone, so to speak, enough cheese on the deal to make it attractive. But I thought that was interesting. It's a shout out to Cleveland. Cleveland being at one time home to approximately half the millionaires in America, I am told. We know this from the early 1900s, late 1800s. John Rockefeller led his enterprise from here in Cleveland. Millionaires Row, all gone. But John D. he had his home at East 30th Street and Euclid Avenue. And that was the old day. Millionaire Row came right from the square in Cleveland. And there's incredible business history in the city of Cleveland. Cleveland, of course, home to Cleveland Cliffs Company, the incredible steel company that is just epic in the development of the United States. We have Sherwin-Williams, of course. These are two companies right down on the square. And, Cleveland's a very interesting thing. So I referred earlier to the idea that the video differentiation basically says, hey, who's this Rick guy? And my audience is people. I am not really focusing on people that are just looking for entertainment. My whole point is that this media effort is to speak with principals that have committed their life to building their companies and have put something together, and they have a problem now. They're tired. They're burned out. They want to quit. Okay. I have a Dalton friend, for example, something in the 100 million range. I think they're doing. He's not in the adhesives thing. $100 million, but family, no family to run. He loves it. What does he do? A bunch of real estate. Very common. He tells me, Rick, what would I do with the money? He says, my buddy pissed away $50 million. Well, that's true. Okay, so it happens. So, I've just studied finance forever. Since I was a junior achievement company president, since high school, 3 years. Business is my thing. Finance is easy. I know the numbers. I like it, this and that. And so I'm kind of in my lane. I'm kind of where I have to be. I haven't said very much about myself. I give a brief intro. But my videos are targeted for principals, owners of companies, $100 million companies. Those guys, the 100,000 companies north of 35 million bucks in America. That's kind of, whether you're a publicly traded company, if you're an executive, we're going to be good Boy Scouts and build those public companies. If you're private companies, family companies, then you need somebody when you want to sell. Or you want to dig in. You say, screw it. I'm 100. I want to be 500. That's you need to. And really, I think people should be more aggressive, more ambitious. $1 million a year. Oh, you make $1 million a year. That's great until your buddy at the club tells you he's making $1 million a month. And then you're making $1 million a month and you think you're hot shit. And then you run across some other guy at a car show making $1 million a week. It's all relative. But if you're having fun, you're having a good time, that's great. I know a really accomplished fella. He was always trying to big. I can't use names. I can't say too much about people I know on this forum because it's kind of recorded for permanent, posterity. But let's say you have a multi-billion-dollar business, and your whole approach is, well, what the heck? I may as well. I like to make money. I want to make more money. Are you happy? No, I'm miserable. But what the hell? I mean, I'll have a bigger office building, or I'll bigger this, or a bigger jet, or a bigger boat. Maybe makes you happy, maybe not. I don't know. Whatever I can do to make you happy, that's my job. I am in the service business, actually. Every tax lawyer, they're in the service business. Keep your ass out of jail, keep you out of trouble, this, that, and the other. But shout out to Avery Dennison. That's Mitch Butler, Deon Stander, Ryan Yost. Good job on your deal. We'll keep a watch and see how that plays out. But hometown boys for the win, picking up that Dalton target. That's all I'm going to say. I got a lot more to report. I have there's another Cleveland deal I'm going to do on a separate clip. It's a hometown boy, did good, but he busted his ass. He's got Goldman Sachs helping him. He doesn't need me, but, we can drink beer and tell jokes. That's fine. Maybe he likes cigars. I don't know. But there's an interesting Cleveland deal. I'll do a quick one on that. And then was going to do a shout out on Tesla. They put out a bunch of money. Where's my notes on that one? I don't know. Tesla spent $17 billion to try to make that connection between his Starlink and cell phone. He just spent $17 billion to take over some spectrum, some bandwidth capacity from EchoStar. And I believe their ticker is DISH, D-I-S-H. But this has been in the news. They want to connect your cell phone to the Starlink Global, because what's the number one bitch with your cell phone? I'm in a dead zone. So basically, Elon has the fix. He's got the fix. So your sat phone, your cell phone is now a sat phone. You don't have to be in the secret part of the government to have a sat phone that works around the world, or anything top secret, whatever. You just have it on your little flip phone, or your whatever iPhone, or what have you. Anyway, I'm going to shut up because I got a lot of shit to do. But I hope you enjoy a little Cleveland shout out, and have a beautiful day. I've got more video to do. I got to do a little one on the other Cleveland guy, Matt Collick. His Leaf Home company did a deal with another company. And that's pretty nice because his company's doing about 1.8 B. And Matt's a pretty cool guy. He's a football guy, player, quarterback, local, North Ohio. And then other than that, I was supposed to be putting out a video on my history, my background, who am I. And that's interesting because when you're doing this kind of stuff, you've got 1,000 people you can work with. But you might work with somebody that is a big fan of the arts. You might want to talk with somebody that has traveled the world and speaks numerous languages. You might be an Army guy and you want to work with an Army guy who knows the smell of gunpowder like me. We'll go into that. But anyway, enough. Shout out to Avery Dennison. Good job, guys. Keep up the fight. Be paranoid. Fight like hell and win. Get that stock back up. You're sucking. Okay. Bye-bye.